Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Level 8 Hacker here. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on my Caselabs M8 case. It's been about a month since I've done a video, and I wanted to just kind of show you guys a couple things that I've done to it. I'm not going to get in too much detail with the hardware and the specs. If you need to know that information, just check out one of my previous videos. I just wanted to cover some small things that I did to it. Right off the bat, you're going to notice that this thing is about 8 inches higher than it was in the previous video. Also, I added casters to it, but what you see down there on the bottom is the Caselabs pedestal. It's an accessory that you can get for I think pretty much all of his cases. I definitely know you can get it for the M8, obviously, because I've got it on my machine. But the reason why I did this, it actually allowed me to move the two 360 millimeter radiators from the top section down into its own separate compartment on the bottom. This actually turned out really well. Investment is well worth it. The reason why I think it was a good idea was in my previous build, I had them on the top sucking the cool air in, and basically what it was doing was the air was passing through the radiators and going through the top, and all the hot air was ending up in the case. So, you know, motherboard temperatures were rising, the water temperature would rise faster than usual, because all that hot air was in there. It didn't matter that I have those 3 Yate looms on the right side, and I've got a AP15 Gentle Typhoon right there in the front, and another 120 in the back, exhausting all of that hot air. I also did a mod to the right side where I added 2 120 millimeter sickle flow fans. You know, that didn't help. The heat would just rise and rise. It probably didn't help that I've got you know, there's 3 video cards in there, and I've got 2 power supplies on the right side, so the heat built up pretty quick. Putting the radiators in its own separate compartment basically dropped my temperatures dramatically, at least, you know, anywhere from 8 to 12, 13 degrees Celsius, which is very hard to believe because it's the same hardware. They're just located in a different spot. As you notice, I've got the computer in my dining room. Got it out of the man cave, so you're actually able to see in this video. I know that last one was kind of terrible, but I wanted to make sure that in this video that you were able to see everything, and I'm using my other camera on a tripod to top it off. On this side, you can see the 2 120 millimeter fans that I cut into the power side. Tell you the truth, the temperatures are so much better with this setup. I do not even have those fans hooked up. They are basically just sitting in there in that plexi until I actually cut another piece of plexi to replace it. Something else I needed to point out was the new Coolants RP 452 x 2 reservoir that I have down in the base unit, and you'll notice that I moved the fan controller, 6-channel fan controller, down to the bottom section. I don't know, it had room, it looked good there. You know, it's kind of its own little separate, it's like a water box attached to the computer. It turned out really nice. That other fan controller you see, let me see if I can get this camera up here. That other fan controller you see right there basically is just some cheaply made, I could not even tell you the brand, honestly. I have that running 6 fans, intaking air, exhausting air out of the top. Here's the back of the case. What you're going to see back here are the three video cards. You're also going to see the I/O panel for the motherboard. I've got two power supplies in here, as I stated before, and that's the 850 on the top and the Corsair 1200 on the bottom. In the back, what you're looking at are intake ports. This base unit came with two 140 millimeter fan mounts, and because it is intake, I installed two Leon Lee black anodized aluminum fan filters. It's kind of nice because you can actually pull those filters out, wash them, put them back in. Alright, here you see one of the Black Ice GTX 360 radiators. I've actually got it, the cool air being sucked in from the back and the bottom. And I've got 6 AP15 Gentle Typhoons mounted to the inside, 3 on this side, 3 on the other. And it's exhausting the hot air out. This is working wonderfully because we all know hot air rises. So being so low in the system itself, it is sucking in cool air from the bottom and exhausting it out into the room, which, you know, is working absolutely wonderful because 0 of this hot exhausted air is going inside of the system. Here's a look at that Coolant's reservoir. Basically, why I have it set up the way I do is for fail-safe. As you know, that this particular one, you can either run one loop or you can separate it with the 2 separate res compartments in there and run 2 separate loops out of one reservoir. Hence the reason why it takes 2 pumps. You can also run it with 1 pump. I actually have 2 going in here. And the reason why I do it is for fail-safe. You know, it would be nice to have 1 complete loop for the processor and 1 complete loop for the graphics cards. I don't know if the temperatures would be any different. You know, I'm sure it would probably stay cooler for just a little bit longer. But the reason why I have it set up this way is for a fail-safe. And what I mean by that is, because I've got it all running in 1 large loop, both pumps working for 1 loop. If 1 pump ever went bad or died for some odd reason, there's another pump. And because it's running through the CPU and all 3 graphics cards all at one time, it's still going to circulate some, you know, some water. So that's the reason why